didn't even know it was going to be a dance seminar too, right?
Okay, who's next?
Hey, let's have Tammy, Mary, Clint, Leslie, let's have you all come up and sit in no particular order on these stools and adjust your microphones in front of you if you would.
And proud of the choice. That is the word here, because God gives us the choice when we are born. Does He not? We just choose another way. That's it. That's all you do. And you'll never be a failure. Never. You can do anything that you want. Just choose it. Be it. Live it. Breathe it.
And that's for free.
I get excited. I get hot.
Okay.
That's not a question.
Oh, that wasn't? Oh, sorry.
All right, raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, you in the back there.
Do you guys ever feel like giving up?
You ever feel like giving up?
Getting
Why don't
up.
you each take it?
Giving up.
Giving
Wait a
up.
second. You have to direct it to somebody. Choose somebody.
Or you can do all of it. You can all answer it if you'd
Or
like
all
to.
of us.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
When don't I feel like giving up? It's a constant thing. It's going to be a battle. It has been for me. It's difficult, and the times and the spaces in between, and the jobs that you don't get, and the times that you go to see a screening, you go, why did I make that choice for that character? If you want to give up, you want to just hide your face and go away and say whatever. But we don't give up because the process of acting is the most exciting thing in our lives. It's hard to compare it even to a new love affair, you know, which is pretty damn exciting. But
Especially if he's good looking like Brad Pitt or something. Yeah. Dang it, I'm trying to get one of those.
getting a character, like for me, yes, getting a character is truly exciting because I don't know anything about that character. So the more that I read about the character, the more I think about the character, it becomes a full-time job just to try to make this character come alive in my mind's eye so that I am able to convey it. And I'm not always, in fact, probably rarely successful, but it's a process that is near and dear. And yeah, there are days when I go, I never want to do this again. I'm humiliated and I feel stupid, blah, blah, blah. And it just goes away. And then I think, oh, when will the phone ring?
So it happens, right, Leslie? It happens. You feel like
It happens, but I think it happens to people in any walk of life. You know, you have a bad day, but when we have a bad day, oftentimes we have it in a pretty visible setting. So that can be sort of humiliating. You have to, you know, have the psychological bruises and then come back out to fight again.
Absolutely.
But part of it is like the fight, and the other part is like the gentle side. You know, the research side, the doing the work, and I would miss that process. I just played an old lady who was like the cantankerous but nice one in this town called Mesa, California, and I'm in charge of the floral decoration committee and their best Christmas decorations. And I did lots of lovely speeches just like that. So I think it's a Hallmark film. It's going to come on, but I think I'm going to be pretty obnoxious. And I never made that decision. You know, I just said, she's going to be this person. Learn a new job.
Right, well, you know, or if you do a new job, it would be, I don't mean to sound wrong, but it would be boring in comparison. Being a performer or being in the business is always exciting. Even not having work keeps you on the edge. So there's always the energy of creating something new, always. Going to do the same thing every day is not exciting to me. So I can't see giving it up.
Excellent. Anybody else want to add to that, Mary?
Okay. You all know about my personality. I think you got me now.
Yeah.
Auditioning, and I'm not getting the job. You know, and then what do I do? I know that you guys are too young to have a cocktail. You shouldn't be having them. But I'll say I have a party with myself. I will put on play, DVD, material that I've done, and have a party with myself. And that's what I do. And that keeps me from giving up. literally. Because I mean, I say to myself, look at all the work that I've done, the body of work that I've done, and that's not even everything that's on the DVD. You know, I don't know, but I'm gonna ask you this. Do any of you remember VHS?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Old school, huh?
It's a later generation.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I had to get stuff transferred from VHS to DVD. And the bottom line is that I couldn't transfer everything. And eventually I'm going to have to transfer everything because the tapes are going to get ruined, you know, because of climate, you know. But I just have a big old party with myself, and I look at it and say, girl, you were good. Look at you, girl, you go. And then the bottom line is I say to myself, somebody hired me then, somebody will hire me again. And so that's why the not really ever giving up. I mean, I look at stuff that I did, you know, tap dance numbers. I didn't even study tap dancing. I am tapping my behind off on some of these numbers, literally. And they were choreographed by famous people. And I'm like, how did they know that, you know, I never studied tap. But if somebody puts the task in front of me, I do it. Like she says,
I can.
I can. And I'm like, you know, but there's something that's on Hulu, show that he and I did together, Body and Soul. Not Hulu, you can look it up on YouTube. It's called, yes, the whole thing, you can see the whole thing. It's called, They're Driving Me Crazy. And this is a documentary that we did when, in 1988, and this was the cast that they wanted to take to Europe. He was part of the cast. It was five of us that were stars of the cast, right? About the middle of the number of where I started in the documentary, trying to learn the words to the song, singing and tap dancing at the same time, and it's a big company number. When I see what I had on in my rehearsal clothes in New York, when we were in the beginning stages of this show, and how each shuffle, how step and whatever, and flap and what have you. Honey, by the time that show was in Germany, in Munich, we opened in Munich, I was flying. So I'm just saying, I could have given up. I said, girl, this number's too hard for me. Put one of those dancers in there and let me just stand on the side and sing. But, so anyhow, no, I'm never giving up.
When she left the show, 5 months later, it took 3 people to replace her.
It's true.
Excellent, all right.
That's how fierce I am.
Tammy, did you have something on that one, or did you want to?
Oh, I'm just holding the
Oh,
microphone
okay.
for
Well, you know
her.
what, because that was
I
good
can do that, too.
because we, okay. Because we had, you know, we had several different perspectives on that, you know, Leslie, that it's going to happen no matter what field you're in. You're going to feel like giving up. It's going to happen on a regular basis. But then you realize, yeah, but what I'm doing I love, so why would I want to quit and try to find something else to do? And then Marion talking about, hey, there's a technique that I use where I look back at some past accomplishments, and that kind of pumps me up for the things that are ahead. So let's give a hand for that answer. That was a good answer. All right, if you have another question, yes, over in the corner there.
Leslie.
Yeah.
When you were first on acting, was there anything you were scared or nervous about?
Acting. Stage fright, you know, is a wild thing. And it never really got me down. And after a couple of years, and I was working quite a bit, I realized that once I walked out on the stage and the curtain was up, I was fine. That the fright was off stage, at home, on the subway, in the car.
Yeah.
It was all that stuff leading up to it. Through my makeup, you know, I had a makeup artist then, Dorothy Chandler, at Civic Light Opera shows, used to call me No Face. Because I come in because I don't have any eyes. But all of that, once you hit the chance to either do something in class, do something at an audition, do something on stage, or do something on film, you're fully loaded. You're ready to go. That goes away. And I hope it does for everybody. And I think that is pretty much the case. So if you know, if you've outfooled your little, your little teasy box in there, and you say, I know that when I get there, I'm gonna be fine, and just stop it, it will go away.
Yeah. Before a performance, I used to tour with a famous man's band. His name was Tex Williams, and he was a platinum recording artist in country and western. Well, I toured with his nephew, son-in-law, and three other gentlemen. One of them, which is the #1 record producer of all time, right now, Marty Rifkin.
Oh.
He's
wow.
big. He's very big. And we toured for 6 years. But before, for me, I had to go out on stage. They did like 15 minutes worth of playing first, and then they would introduce me. So I'd run up on stage, and it was always to my #1 song that I was known for, and that was a country song called Rocky Top, because it was a fast-paced song. But before I went out on stage, every single time, I had to go throw up. That was just something that I did. Had to go throw up. But once I was done, I was ready to kill whatever I was going to go out there and do. I had to sing 45-minute shows. I had to learn all those songs, every single one of them. 45 minutes, divide 3 minutes, 3 into 45, and know how many songs I had to sing. I had to do 3 sets. So it was like so many songs, 3 different times. I was allowed to sing 1 or 2 that were the same from a set or one before, because it was commonly asked for, or asked for over and over again because they loved how I sang it. But don't think just because your nerves tend to get the best of you that you can't go out there and deliver the best.
I have a cure.
Absolutely.
This is a kind of cure, but not when but it goes with what you're saying. And I've only realized that this works in the last couple of years, and it's absolutely foolproof. When oh my God, going on, I'm going, to action, whatever, there's time, it's a physical trick. 1 finger here, you breathe in with this nostril. Okay, close that one, breathe out with the other nostril. Now you're going to breathe back in with this one. Now you can do this surreptitiously, and you do it a number. I even do this now, and all of a sudden I feel my shoulder muscles react. It is astounding for getting yourself back in your own self,
Zen.
and just stopping the nerves and just letting yourself do the job. And it's so silly, isn't it?
That's part of Hatha Yoga.
And you can even do it quickly. Like if something happens and you start to go into a rage or something, you don't want to go there. You could just hide yourself and do that.
I was in a show on Broadway called UB, and it's music of a famous composer back in turn of the century, UB Blake. And I got to tell you, 8 shows a week is no joke.
Yeah, a lot of work.
8 shows a week, and
No rest.
and you being, let's say, the audience on Broadway audience, you should see what goes on backstage when, it's like a circus act backstage. Everybody walking around trying to get it together, and curtain's getting ready to go up, 10 minutes, and all of that stuff. And then, everything's fine, you relax and all of that, but places, and then they call places, and you're in the wings, and then the girl with the Bible for the show, stage manager, she's calling the cues and all that, orchestra starts, and then the jitters happen.
And the Bible, by the way, is a script.
Yeah,
That's why you gotta use your fingers.
the Bible is her book for all the cues and all of that stuff, and the lighting man and the sound guy and all that. That's called the Bible.
Yep.
Honey, I got to tell you, it's like every night, every show. Now, you would think that on a Wednesday matinee, I just did the matinee, and went through the jitters and all that. And you're standing there in the wings and until your cue, and I'm thinking, I'm going with these words, in my mind and all that. And then you jump out and you're doing the show.
Again.
Yeah, but it's like you go for broke. We have been, and I know that all of us that's been on Broadway. Sick as a dog, but the audience wouldn't know it. Flew going through various companies, and you heard of Ain't Misbehaving, right? The Broadway show Ain't Misbehaving?
It's big.
Anyhow, these are shows that I remember, once the flu goes through one cast, it eventually will hit just about all the other casts in other shows. And then your understudies go on. This one, though, will kill his understudy before they go on. I mean, he's gone on and just barely making it, you know, gonna die any second. But got on stage and did his show. Then had to go to the hospital because he hurt himself on a set that moved at the wrong time. They didn't have light back. But jitters are what they, I think, make the show a better show. That adrenaline.
If we didn't have nerves, and I say we because we're all in the same family now, we're performers, whether you pursue it professionally or not, and some of you will, I'm hoping, is that it's we.
Yeah.
It's we share the jitters before the show, and it's the jitters that actually, in essence, gets us ready to do the show.
Exactly.
It gets our energy up to, 790 as opposed to
run that marathon.
Sometimes what I do is if I'm really, really, really nervous, like if, for instance, we do previews. I don't know if you guys know, but before a Broadway show opens, you have a month or so of previews, and then you have the show before the show really opens, when all the reviews come. And that's the show that's going to make or break whether the show's going to run. And that's really when your nerves are up because you're going to be reviewed, the show's going to be reviewed, and it can close the next day.
Which most of mine have.
And most shows do close. If you have 12 shows that hit Broadway, 2 might make it, the rest might close. And that happens most of the time. So, your nerves are up. I choose to pretend that it is a rehearsal. That helps me, and that opening night's the next night. It helps me to calm down. And then, if that doesn't work, then I put my grandmother, God rest her soul, in the back of the house, and I play to her. But I always put somebody that I truly, truly love, that loves me, in the house somewhere, and I play to them, just to calm down.
Amen.
Excellent. There's some really good techniques there. So you've got a choice. You can do the breathing thing. You can imagine a loved one in the crowd. You can throw up butterflies if you want to. There's a few different things you can do, but everybody gets the jitters, they said. Yes, right here in the front.
What makes this for everyone? So, what makes you the most passionate or excited about performing?
About performing?
What makes you the most passionate or excited about performing?
For me, it's making people feel something they've never felt before. When I sing, I've had old couples walk up to me when I was at the Cowboy. It's a very famous place in Anaheim, California. And they came up to me and they said, you know what? They were probably 80, I would say, 90. And it was a man and a woman. They said, we used to be married a long time ago. And then we got divorced and we married somebody else. And our spouses died. And we crossed paths again. And we decided to go out dancing. And you're singing up there. And you sang crazy. She goes, and the man goes, we loved how you sang that. And it brought us back to when we married, when we were kids. And we're going to get married again because of that.
That's great. What was the question again? I'm so into the story. I'm thinking that was something about nerves, and then went to
The
passion.
What makes you most passionate or excited about performing?
Making people feel something they haven't felt before or ever.
telling a story to transport them. People buy theater tickets, people go to movies because they choose spending, and at this point to go to the theater in New York and even Los Angeles is a pretty penny because they want to watch someone else's story. And I think it gives people respite, and it's exciting, and it gets them out of the humdrum and away from the TV, which is always trying to sell something. So I love doing the theater because I think it may be actually giving somebody a good evening, or a good afternoon, or some memories that they can take home. And that's more than I can give anybody at the supermarket when I'm buying ham.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's a feeling of, again, it's the generosity of the theater, and I think we all have it. And I've noticed it, every single person I've talked to up here, an enormous dose of generosity, of just being here, like people that are instructors, being here for you, looking for ideas and things to stimulate you, talking to some of you about how you feel about each other and how you feel. It's all that.
Very rewarding.
It's finding home away from home.
Excellent.
Well,
Mary?
I think that, what was your question again?
What makes you most passionate or excited about performing?
They buy tickets to go to the museums, enjoying that, you know, what master painters from yesteryear, you know, just looking at a beautifully crafted painting. And they buy tickets to go to the game, Dodgers game and stuff like that. People buy tickets to get out of where they are and transport themselves into whatever their, you know, their feel-good spot is.
That's right.
And the theater, and you watch TV. You don't have to buy tickets to watch TV, but you better be paying that cable bill. You know, you're paying to be entertained. And that's part of the human race.
To escape.
Yeah, to escape. And that's why, you know, and so theater is no different from all the other things that I just mentioned. And movies. I mean, every time you go to a movie house, I mean, first of all, popcorn is expensive, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
And the soda drink, you can buy probably a new car with one drink. And
No food value.
right. But people want to escape.
Yep.
So that's why probably, you know, I enjoy doing what I do in terms of like, I keep going back to theater because the bottom line is that that's where I started. And to know that at the end of a show, who knows how hard they had to work for that money to spend to come and see you on stage.
That's right.
And you better deliver.
Don't you think some of it is escape?
Oh, no, it is escape. But
Is
there's
that our lives have become not really humdrum, but we're so used to living our own lives. And if we get to go someplace and watch live people
Right.
live a life that's other than ours,
And then what you gave up on that stage, when it goes out into the audience and they stand up and give you a standing ovation, there's nothing more
or the
than-
fire drill.
Yeah, right.
No, this wasn't the fire.
No, I'm just joking. But no, I'm just saying, you have no idea. I mean, the audience gives to the actors on stage.
Everything.
And the fact that the audience is sitting in all those seats, it means so much to us that's performing. And I can't tell you that it's just such a passion, everything in the arts is. And that's why I hope that they continue in education. I hope that they don't take it all away, you know, like what they're trying to do.
They treat it like an extra as opposed to a necessity in schools sometimes.
It's alive and well here in Porterville. I'll let you know that. Clint, jump in there.
Okay, so everything that they said, and it's true, and I feel the exact same way. But mine has changed somewhat over the years. Lately, it has been for that special moment of communion between the audience and the performance, where there is a magnetism that doesn't happen in every performance. That's not only in theater, but it happens mostly in live theater, but sometimes in film. And I can only give you examples, probably Tom Hanks in the film where the Somalian pirates
Yeah.
Yes.
Great
So
movie.
remember when he got saved and he was there and he started, I still feel that moment. When he was explaining what happened to him,
Exactly.
there is a moment where you could actually feel past the screen.
Yep.
That moment. Those kinds of moments in theater and on the screen, those are the moments I look for. When you can have that communion with the audience, that is a spiritual truth, a universal truth in your work that communicates timelessness, whether it's writing, pictures, art, or anything. That's what I strive for now in my art. I saw Jessica Tandy in a small play on Theater Row years ago, before Denzel Washington came. In fact, Denzel was in the theater next door. He was doing something about a soldier story. And Jessica Tandy was doing another play before she died about her son going to war. And she walked out on the porch, small theater, 99 seats. She walked out into the porch and she looked over at the audience. And she stood there for maybe what seemed like 5 minutes. And she didn't say a word, but you heard every word in that 5 minutes. And it was all true. You just sat there and you heard her whole conversation. That's the kind of communion that I look for in theater now. In all my work, or in all the work I look at. They used to call me the guy who likes to sit in the dark, and I'm still that guy. She knows. I go to the theater, put on my makeup, go on stage, take my makeup off, and then run to find a theater to go sit and watch a movie. I go to bed, get up before the matinee, see if there's a movie playing, go see the movie, go to the matinee. Instead of going to lunch, I go to see a movie, then come back and go to the theater. That's how I've been all my life. I just love it.
Well, great answers all the way around, and you could hear their hearts, their passion in those answers. I haven't pointed anybody on this side yet. Anybody over here have a question? Okay, Rick.
For someone who wants to get into the industry, what would be like a piece of advice as a first step?
First step to getting into the industry.
She wants to know what kind of advice you would give to go into the industry.
Maybe some first steps that they might take if they're interested.
That's your answer.
I would say don't give up. Don't give up, because I can. And I say that a lot, and it seems to get redundant, but I grew up on that. That's how I've done everything that I've done. People are amazed when they find out everything that I've done. I'm even an inventor. I invented something for a major aerospace corporation. They gave me, I was in charge of this huge test section, making tests to test the stability of a thickness of a product called graphite. When you lay it down, and you lay it in different degrees, and then you cook it, it becomes stronger than steel. So I was in charge of this, and they gave me 4 tools to do one thing. And I kept going, well, you want me to do this? Use all these just to do this? They kept going, yes, yes. I don't always listen to everybody because I have the foresight to see things to streamline or to make better. That's how I was raised. If you raise your kids saying that I can, they don't see the word can't. It's never in their vocabulary. So as I said, I invented something for Northrop. So what I did was I took those 4 tools and I made one tool that had all 4 of those things on it. And they paid me a whole lot of money for it. And they use it across the world in every single Northrop. Because I invented it, because it didn't make sense to me to pick up this and to do that, to pick up that and to do this, to pick up that and to do this. So I just turned all 4 of those things into one thing, to where I just picked it up and went dun, 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 dun. Streamline, that means making things faster, getting it done better.
Tell more of them.
Exactly. But I would say if you're really, really, I mean, you have to be serious about going into the business. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do it. You got to say with conviction, I am. There's the door. That's right. There it is. I'm going to go do it.
Just go through the door.
And if you don't succeed, what are you supposed to do? Choose another way. Do not ever think that you are any less than what you are. You are great. Do you understand that? You wake up every single day, write little affirmations on papers, put them above your bed, put them in your bathroom, put them wherever. There was a lady on this lottery television show that's on right now. It's a reality show. It's What Would You Do If You Won the Lottery? She wrote an affirmation and she put it underneath her pillow. And she kept pulling it out of her pillowcase. She won the number that was on that affirmation.
Wow.
Millions, multi-millions. Affirmations are amazing things. Do you know what an affirmation
You wouldn't have to worry
is?
about
You
it.
live it, you breathe it. So if you put up on the ceiling, I'm great, or I will be somebody, or I can, just put up on the ceiling, I can.
Or I am somebody and I'm going to use it.
Exactly. You will be greater than you'll ever know. And you teach people that. Another thing is just like she said, you know, the generosity. The generosity is not just people giving. Generosity is you giving back. You've got to give back.
It
because
flows.
It flows. It goes out and it comes back. I give every single solitary day of myself. I do not ask for a single solitary cent.
But it comes back to you.
It comes back to me tenfold every single time. So my point is, the answer to your question is, don't give up. You are great, and you will be a somebody.
And also don't forget that everybody has a different opinion in the world. I mean, none of us are born with all the same opinions
That's
of
very
what's
true.
good and what's bad. So expect to be turned down more than you're accepted. But the accepted will make the life for you that you really want, and there'll be enough of it. If in fact you go with all the generosity of spirit and you go with your, best foot forward and et cetera, et cetera. But can I make a suggestion as to what they might do if anybody wants to get into the industry? There are some teachers, and it's making those choices that are hard. But there are some teachers, and I don't have a list of them with me right now, but they do know how people can get into the industry, and they teach you, and they actually rob you. But most of them aren't all that expensive. But you get all this information when you go to their classes, because they're right there in LA. And they'll have, all the things that agents get, like what people are looking for, and find out what's on the open call. I mean, you can actually use equity in some cases where you don't have to be a member, because you'll become members of Actors Equity if you do a certain number of plays or whatever it is. So I would say that acting teachers probably are the best informed as to what's going on and how you can get auditions.
Yep.
And also, if you're going to do an audition, you can take it into acting class and do it with a partner, so that when you're at that audition, it's not the first time that you've read these lines out loud. And you may be working with a reader, so it's a stranger, but you've already done this scene because you've done it in class. So if you can afford to get a job doing something else while you're studying to pay for the teacher, it can be expensive, but it can actually be the thing that breaks the ice.
That's true.
And, sorry.
I'm so sorry. A lot of your great actors out there, one of which is Steve Railsback. I don't know if you've ever seen Helter Skelter, but you've got a lot of great old or older actors out there that have gotten major awards. They are teaching to today.
Is Steve teaching?
Absolutely, he's got a class going. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, he's got a great class. But I mean, seek out, I know that you're like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, I get that. But look back to yesteryear. Bring out those old movies. You're gonna find a lot of information of those, how they used to act as nowhere comparison to what they do today. A lot of great actors. You can learn a lot by watching the old movies. That'll give you some insight. It'll also give you some education so that when you do go out there and you're doing an audition or whatever it is, if they start talking about it, you can engage with that conversation too, and they're gonna go, what? But they're only 17, or they're only 18, and they know about this person? Well, maybe there's something to be seen with that. So seek out the older or the established and the great actors that have schools out there.
But don't mimic them.
Exactly.
Try to figure out how they're doing what they're doing.
That's right.
But don't just try to do what they do.
Right.
But you find out and you get in touch with who you are. And if that means you do some stretching with your body and you get to know it before you sit down and watch something.
That's right.
That it's how they're doing, not that you're going to imitate what they're doing, unless you're pretty good at that. Then you find somebody who's terrific, and you go, and they'll hire you because you sound just like so-and-so. But the chances of that happening are pretty unlikely. So each and every one of us has a unique and distinct, that's the marvelous thing about this universe. No one here is like maybe similar, but not an absolute replica of anyone else. So there is something about each and every one of us that's individual. And instead of looking to be like someone else, like a movie, someone you see working a lot, or someone that you admire, you want to be like them, but you really want to find out more about yourself every single day so that you become a great salesman selling the thing that's most important to you. And that is yourself.
Amen.
And you're not selling it, you're only selling it temporarily just to be in that film, but there's a chance that that particular project, if you're in it, will live forever.
That's right.
You never
Just
know.
like Police
Well,
Academy.
Marion, jump in
Well,
there.
I think that, what you were asking about, what?
The first step to getting to the industry.
The what?
First step
to
to
getting
first step
into
to
the
get in would be having
Oh,
that kind of
well, first
connection. You have your teachers here, and you've learned what you can, and you
Okay.
stay connected always to your first acting teacher. It'll be
I'll
very
wait.
important to discuss your what?
If Mary's trying to squeeze in a word.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was open forum.
Okay, well, the thing is that I wanted to bring up something that is interesting because a lot of your fantastic talent that's out there, they were rejected by many people. Steve Gutenberg in Police Academy was told when he first went to Hollywood through the photographer that was taking his photo that he was paying to get his 8x10 headshot. Oh, you'll never make it, in Hollywood. That you're not the type that they want. Oh, just go home. Just go back to the East Coast and all of that. Now, Steve had, he didn't have the typical leading male look that Hollywood was buying. And the bottom line is that he stuck in there, hung in there, and did his homework. Because you just can't walk off the street and think you're all that cute and everything, and then show up and say, well, I don't understand why I didn't get the job. So you're gonna have to do your homework and be prepared so that, and be prepared to be turned down so many times. When you look at I Love Lucy, you guys have seen I Love Lucy, the TV show? They didn't want that TV show.
That's true.
Because he was Cuban and she was Caucasian.
Yep.
They said, this will never work. So many things in the industry that are just unbelievable. Tyler Perry, you know who he is. Okay, he was homeless for a year, living in his car. He was just on The View a few days ago, and he said he did everything. He would go and take odd jobs and to try to make money to put on his little Medea plays.
Love that.
And travel. He said he did the lights, the sets. He took out the trash. He made the costumes, went out and got clothes, all with his own little money. But he wanted to make it in the industry. And it's interesting because between him, Tyler, and the girl that plays Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the new black.
Udo?
Yeah, something like that.
Something, yeah, the girl with crazy eyes? Okay, she was about to give up in the industry. And she had one more audition. And that was Orange is the New Black. But she had decided that day, I'm quitting, shutting it down. Tyler, on the other hand, he was at the same place mentally too. He was giving up. He was going to do one last live performance of the play Medea that he wrote, directed, and everything, delivered, right? That was the day that he said, oh, this is our last show in LA. I'm just going to do this last show. And Lionsgate picked up on him. I think they were in the audience. They said, no, we got something for you to do because we want to sign you. So all of these experiences, I'm saying this to you, when you pull all your resources together, try to go in for that first audition. Are you an actress?
No, I was thinking of getting into it.
What?
I was thinking of pursuing it.
Oh, pursuing it. Well, you're going to have more passion than that.
Say it better is what she
Yeah.
said. I want to hear you
I'm
say,
thinking of pursuing it. Let me hear you say that.
I was thinking of pursuing it.
All right, that's
better
not-
than that.
You can do better than that,
better
girl.
than that. Stand up.
We're
Come
not
on,
beating
no
her up.
laughing. This is a serious
Let's
thing.
say it together.
That's right.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I was thinking of pursuing it.
All right,
Better than
there
that.
you go. No, she's done
Better
it.
than that.
She's
a little
done
bit
it.
better. One more time.
I want to be an actor.
There you go. Out.
And what she
All right,
said,
give her a hand, y'all.
Come on, everybody.
Okay, real quick, okay, this is gonna be quick. I go to different schools, the same school as they are, and everything they said I agree with. However, if you really do want to be an actress, there's no art actor. And today's world, it's actor for both men and women. There's no one way. Put your foot in front of the other is the way.
Amen.
But no one has said anything about the universities. You can pick a good school, Juilliard, Carnegie Mellon, Cal State, Cal Arts, USC, UCLA, any of those schools. LA City College is inexpensive, but one of the best for theater as well as cinema.
very, very
In the country?
illustrious alumni.
Yes.
Yes.
Mark Hamill, Morgan Freeman, yours truly, no. But the point is, Laverne and Shirley, the point is, when you go to college, you have more time to hone your craft. You don't have that once you get in the industry. You have 4 weeks to learn a role at best. If you're in a film, you only have a couple of days to get that part down and put it on a screen.
Yeah.
If you go to university, you have longer to investigate your craft until the industry calls you. In fact, most universities will tell that. As long as you're in school, you'll have a chance to learn your craft. But once the industry calls you, if you're lucky enough to be called, from then on, you have to produce.
You learn on the job.
Yeah, you learn on the
Exactly.
job.
That's what I did.
So take advantage of your youth to find a good institution to rub noses with your fellows, because they'll be the ones who, I got my start from I got the whiz through one of my classmates say, go down, they got a job you might be right for. And that's how I got my equity card. I got my SAG card the same way. Students, fellow students, that's it.
Excellent. Let's give them all a big hand for this question and answer period. And I know
I just wanted to say that this is a terrific stage. I hope you work it.
well, you know what? We're going to get on that stage right now.
All right.
We're going to all get up there. That's what they just opened the curtains for. We want all the students to orderly head up.